Tabernacle and then go Saka.
Hey out there, this is Thursday, July 9th, 2020. And it's just about a minute before 8 in the morning here in Northern California. And as usual, I'll get into several different subjects. I don't know if anybody recognized that voice there, but that's Jimmy Cliff, the renowned reggae musical artist. And, I'll tell you, it had to be back in the 1970s that it was my dad, actually, that thought I might enjoy his stuff. And I really did, He's got this album. I guess it's probably the one big album of his life, but it is The Harder They Come. And there's a lot of good tunes that I really like and you can sing along with, not in his native language, which is Jamaican. But I was just, I thought he had passed a long time ago, but then I was thinking, no, that was the other great reggae artist whose name isn't coming to mind yet, but everybody knows it. It's a household name. But a great artist, great reggae artist. But I really like Jimmy Cliff, but he's still alive and he's living in Jamaica. And I thought, smart guy like that, Jamaica might be an all right country. I don't know if a guy like me could move there, but you never know. I mean, plenty of white people live in predominantly black countries all the time, so safely for the most part. But I think if the locals got to know me, they might accept me once they know my credos, my beliefs. I think that I might get along pretty good with the Jamaican people. I generally get along with most people if they're real, if I sense that they're honest and they have integrity, and above all that they're egalitarian, that they believe in equality, that every human being is equally precious in the sight of God, and that's saying a lot. That kind of sums up a lot of this nonsense that we're hearing in the news. It's so divisive. I mean, this whole thing that's going on in the world, it is a mad world, okay? It really is. I mean, think about it. It's so insane. And I'll tell you what, the scriptures would back me on that, okay? 100%. I mean, Jesus spelled it out. I mean, really clearly when he said, look, you must is unconditional. You have to do this thing, okay? And that is to hate your life in this world. Key, in this world, the world system. Yet, everything about living in this world is about living the worldly way and defining everything in worldly terms. And we're being handed this stuff from madmen, absolute freaking evil geniuses at the very top of this perverted pyramid of power. You've got to understand what I'm talking about here. I mean, these are the ones that the Congress and the Senate cower to. Do you understand? These are the ones that don't care about conscience. Okay, that's what they call a sociopath. That sounds so euphemistic for somebody that does not value their conscience. I mean, that's a big deal. You've got to understand that the advantage they have temporarily by not valuing their conscience. I mean, think about the things you could get away with if you didn't value your conscience. What you do, you have integrity, you care, you have honor, and you care about your reputation, you care about your soul. I mean, just normal stuff that decent, upright human beings care about. That's called proper, right, godly values that God instilled in you, and you have an instinct to gravitate toward those if you try, if you're real, if you're serious. Okay, then you will know the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, because God will reveal it to you. See, the nature, character, the personality of God is no mystery at all. His will for you and I, for the whole planet, is no mystery. It's as clear as light of day. I mean, I've known this for a long time, and it keeps getting clearer and clearer and clearer that is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. The Spirit of God is all around you. We all have equal access 24 hours a day, For all eternity, we all have equal access to the Holy Spirit of truth. It's there. That's God. That's Jesus Christ. That's everything. That's the whole heavenly body of angelic beings. I mean, they're there for you because God cares about you. God values you very much, and me and everybody else. And what does he want? I mean, he gives us this beautiful planet we call Earth. What does he say? That it's okay that we divide it the way we have? And we say this is okay, that a money-based unreality we should all accept as normal and just comply, conform, capitulate, and just say, hey, you know what? It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. It's just the way it is. America's a young country, but we're going the way, and it's obvious. The writing's on the wall. It's very large, neon, flashing lighting. Yeah, we're taking you to a third, fourth world status. We're going to have an extreme wealth imbalance here. And sorry, but we got the Labor Department working for us. They have been utterly, obviously, deliberately remiss at giving adequate cost of living. I mean, come on, they all have to admit that. Anybody working for the Labor Department, I'm talking federal, so that we're not divided as a nation in America, okay? They could have easily prevented this wealth imbalance. It would have been a stalemate, okay? If they said every year they just came out and said, hey, you know what? Somebody drove the cost of living up. They knew because these are smart, educated people with the PhDs, the master's degrees, and all the acronyms behind their names. These are our leaders. The labor, that's a big deal. What do you think slavery is all? Ancient slavery, labor, free labor, the theft of people's labor. And it happened all, has nothing to do with the color of your skin. Every people's has been enslaved. So this whole idea of reparations, it's nonsense. It's this affirmative action, reverse discrimination. Anytime you give anybody a privilege based on the color of their skin, and then you say that it's bad to be discriminating, I mean, come on, what is that? Because of the color of my skin, I don't get a basic income? I don't get reparations? Well, let's trace my lineage back. We'll find out, yeah, my peoples were too, but it didn't affect me directly. My whole life, I mean, slavery's been gone in America for a long time. All the people that did that are dead and long gone, man. So what's this reparations they're talking about? I'm fine with it if you're talking about a universal basic income. We share this planet the way God wants us to, for God's sake. We don't need anything to do with money to have prosperity. We've got to understand these basic, fundamental truths that God will... This is biblical stuff, man. If I say anything that's inconsistent with the Holy Bible, with the scriptures of old, ancient knowledge, then by all means, use your own discretion. You go, you check, you reference it, you vet it, and then you decide for yourself, deduce for yourself what is true and what isn't. Okay, do you understand? I mean, we've just got to think way outside the box and get into God's realm. What's his point of view? What's his opinion? What's his belief system? What's his character? What's his nature? What's his personality? And we can all gravitate toward that. We should. That's growth. That's eternal growth. We're going to be growing and evolving forever. We're going to learn more and more stuff. We can comprehend a lot. We can imagine a whole lot. And if we can imagine it, we can make it manifest. If it's something material we're trying to imagine. So this idea of living in a world entirely without any form of money, as radical as that sounds, as much of a departure it is from the current paradigm that we're all under, this yoke, or this burden we're all under from birth, that we just accept, oh yeah, that's fine, we go along. That's the one thing, right? You can be free any other way, okay? But to be financially free, you've got to be born into this perpetual aristocrat class, right? But I digress. You know, I like to talk about the Labor Department because it's so simple. If you can wrap your mind around what I'm trying to say here. Capitalism. We talk about capitalist supply and demand. I mean, let's look at the demand for truly affordable housing in America. Who could deny that there's a huge demand for truly affordable housing in America? Go ahead. You're either a liar, an idiot, or a combination thereof. I'm sorry, I'm getting arrogant. But it ticks me off that people try to sell their BS and other people just buy it. They don't even, nobody's thinking. There's so much ignorance and confusion about these issues. Supply and demand. I mean, if you've got any semblance of capitalism, it's based fundamentally on supply and demand. Supply and demand is paramount to the whole premise of any form of true capitalism. So if there is a huge demand for affordable housing, pray tell, what's the dealio? You get what I'm saying here? It's a scam. People are colluding. Okay? It's theft. You understand? It really amounts to theft. That's what's going on here. It's slavery. They've normalized slavery. It didn't happen overnight. Gradually, they've normalized it over a long period of time. The Labor Department. How has the Labor Department been at fault? And allowing this to have this wealth imbalance that keeps growing, setting up these social welfare states and calling all these people bad communists, socialists, liberals, takers, charity cases, burdens to society, freeloaders, moochers, creating the poverty. The same people that are creating the poverty and pretending they're ignorant, that they are, no, it's you. You just don't get it. They get it. They understand. They're happy to take the millions and billions of dollars. So many of these people. But they won't talk about sound economic policies, will they? And the imperative nature to have any semblance of justice and fairness in the economic realm in our society. Marginalizing, subjugating those that pour their blood, sweat, and tears into their labors, doing jobs that are absolutely, unequivocally, inarguably, irrefutably imperative to the welfare of society. And you're going to cheat them out of fair pay and say it all makes sense somehow, and you should accept it. No, not me, my friends. Not me, and not guys like Martin Luther King Jr., not guys like JFK, not guys like Abraham Lincoln or Andrew Jackson, whom fought the Federal Reserve. Okay, I admire that. That's gutsy. That's courageous. That you shouldn't be in the executive branch unless you're willing to confront these money masters of utter misery. That's who's done this. What do you think the Federal Reserve hasn't had the Labor Department in their pocket? What do you think? What if the Labor Department every year, totally justifiably, said, we know there's market manipulation going on. There's collusion. There's collusion. The housing, look at it. Slick Willie got rid of the Glass-Steagall Act, allowed the bankster, gangster class to go wild west on the ass of the American people, stole all their houses back in 2008, bailed out the criminals who deliberately caused the blowout of the economy. 90% of the American people were opposed to it, but yet this tiny critical mass of Congress people and senators, not all of them, thank God not all of them, but enough to get the job done.